One of my coworkers sent my wife a picture of him flexing in a mirror, saying he was available if she was looking for a real man, all because someone asked what my max bench in the gym was, and apparently my bench was too pathetic for him. I'm currently dealing with a work situation that I, 28M, need advice on. Before work I go to the gym about every other day. I'm hardly shredded, but I've gone enough that you can see my muscles when I come into work in short sleeves. I wouldn't describe myself as a gym bro or a gym rat, I really just go for my overall health. Anyways, I work in an office with maybe 25 to 30 people that work there. We mainly do business-to-business sales and supply, not really relevant to the story. Anyway, I get to work one day wearing a polo and a couple of girls and guys in the office were asking me if I had been working out recently and I told them that I had. It wasn't flirtatious or anything like that, I think they were just giving me a friendly compliment. Plus I'm married, but as we're discussing me working out, my coworker Gary, 40SM, walks in. Gary is a lot. He's one of those guys who constantly talks about how much he benches, his gains, and generally just tries to project this super intense, alpha male image. Which is annoying, but none of my business really. This is where the problem starts. Someone asked me what my max bench was. I told them honestly, and Gary, who was lurking nearby, scoffed loudly. He then proceeded to tell me, in front of like 5 other coworkers, that my number, 170, was pathetic and that I clearly wasn't a real man or an alpha. He then went on a tirade about how men need to be strong and dominate, etc., etc. It was super uncomfortable. I tried to just laugh it off and change the subject, but it didn't work. Since then, it's gotten worse. Every single day, Gary makes some kind of comment. If I'm getting coffee, he'll ask if I'm strong enough to lift the pot. If I'm walking to my desk, he'll flex and ask if I'm inspired yet to hit the weights like a real man. I've tried ignoring him, giving him short answers, even politely telling him to knock it off. Nothing works. He just laughs and says I need to grow a thicker skin. Then, this is where I start to lose my shit a little. My wife, 27F, texted me a screenshot yesterday. It was a DM from Gary. It was a picture of him flexing in the mirror with some ridiculous caption about being a true alpha and how real women know what's up. Summarizing, but you get the sentiment. He'd somehow found her on social media and sent her this unsolicited picture and message. I was beyond furious. I wanted to march over to his desk and punch him, but I knew that would only make things worse. Editor's note. Text. Gary, hey, wife, do I know you? Gary, I work with, redacted, if you're looking for a real man let me know. He wouldn't know what to do with you. No idea how you're with such a weak man. I'm starting to dread coming to work. It's constant, it's demeaning, it's making me feel genuinely small and uncomfortable, and now he's involving my wife. Am I overreacting to this? Is this just typical guy banter that I'm not getting? Should I just suck it up and ignore him, or is this actually something worth addressing with HR? I feel like if I tell HR it might just add fuel to the fire. But if I come down to his level and respond violently, I'll lose my job. Commenter. HR should have been involved a long time ago. Be advised he will pursue the wife angle more aggressively than ever. Update. Just wanted to update everybody after my last post. I ended up going to HR. I honestly didn't think HR would do much because Gary is a good employee in terms of performance, but surprisingly they took my complaint very seriously and were in disbelief when I showed them the screenshot of the DM he sent to my wife. The next day, Gary was not at the office, so I wasn't sure if they had fired him or if he was just on a suspension at first, but our boss told us to let his clients know that he was out for the day if they called the office. So I assumed that meant he got suspended. He was back this morning. Usually he greets me with some kind of smart remark, but today he was really quiet and seemed to be avoiding eye contact with me. When I went to grab some coffee out of the break room a little after that, he came in there and asked if we could talk for a second. He proceeded to tell me that HR laid into him big time and they told him that if he pulled anything like that again, it would result in termination. He then proceeded to apologize to me for everything and said that as pathetic as it sounds, he was just upset that nobody ever compliments him on going to the gym despite how much time he spends in the gym in his free time. He said it hurt that people acknowledged me when going to the gym wasn't as big of a deal for me as it was for him. He then asked for my forgiveness. I honestly felt kind of bad for him in that moment. It was really kind of pathetic, but he did seem sorry, so I told him I accepted his apology, but if he ever messages my wife on anything again, he'll have a lot more to worry about than an HR complaint. He again apologized. I don't know if this situation is fully resolved given it's only been a half day, but Gary has been quiet and not at all like himself. We'll see if this lasts, but his apology felt genuine, so hopefully this is the last update I'll have to give on this situation. Thank you to everybody that encouraged me to go to HR. There was a lot of people that pointed out that Gary must be dealing with a lot of insecurities, and I think they were right. There's a few things I want to address that were questions in my last post. How did Gary have my wife's info? He found her Instagram. A lot of people thought he somehow got her number, which wasn't the case. Do I really only bench 170? When I said I benched 170, I meant that I bench 4 sets of 12 at 170. I've never done a single rep max. Does Gary have a wife? No, from my understanding, Gary is divorced and has been single for a while.